Go through the sky, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Zay, collectively known as SoCal Uncensored or
SCU! This is Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the worst podcast I've ever been on. Word.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the best podcast you never heard of. My name's Tom. I am your host. Today is Sunday, November the 15th, 2020. I want to thank everybody for watching, listening, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Thank you also for following on social media on all platforms. You can find the show at Catch Hook Shoot. Head to patreon.com/catchhookshoot for bonus content, prowrestlingtees.com/catchhookshoot for your t-shirts, and our other web store, catchhookshoot.bigcartel.com for t-shirts and hats that you won't find on Pro Wrestling Tees. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So we got a extra supersized episode this week because last week's episode came out a day early to cover the pay-per-view, so little bit longer of a show this week. So let's dive right into everything going on in pro wrestling, starting it off like we always do with the match of the week. So this week's match of the week comes from AEW Full Gear from last Saturday, and that was the AEW World Tag Team Championship match between the Young Bucks and FTR. This was just a fantastic match. It was a clinic in tag team wrestling. Two of the best teams in the world. I don't care what anybody has to say negative about either one of these teams. These are two of the best tag teams in the world, and this is a dream match that's been, coming for years. I mean, the Bucks and FTR have engaged in Twitter battles going back to when the Bucks were in New Japan and FTR was in WWE. Finally got to see this match. It did not disappoint. The Young Bucks are the new World Tag Team Champions for AEW, and you saw both teams paying tribute to tag teams of the past, like the Hart Foundation and the Hardy Boys and stuff like that. And it was just a great tag team match. So if you have not checked out Full Gear from last week, I highly recommend you check it out because the pay-per-view overall was great. And we'll be getting a little more into that as far as the results and everything a little bit later on. But yeah, match of the week this week, Young Bucks versus FTR for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Definitely check that one out. So rolling right along into the next segment of the show is my top 3 highlights of the week, and that is called the 3 Count. So number 1 on the 3 Count, more AEW news. AEW announced this week they will have 3 upcoming video games, 1 console game and 2 mobile games. The mobile games are going to be a GM game and also a casino game, which sounds kind of interesting. Obviously, with the whole casino implication with Double or Nothing and All In, All Out, a lot of their pay-per-view stuff revolves around gambling in one form or another. So the casino game seems like a perfect fit. The GM game actually sounds like a lot of fun. You get to build your roster and stuff like that. Basically control your company, and so that sounds pretty cool. And then what people have been clamoring for since AEW started, an AEW console game for PS4, PS5, Xbox, the current and next gen systems. So I can't wait for that one. I'm definitely going to check it out. They're working with NXTUK, who formerly worked with WWE on their video games, and also the director from what's considered the best wrestling game ever, No Mercy. So they've got some pretty high ambitions with this, and from the sounds of it, it sounds like it's going to be a good game. Like I said, I'm definitely going to check it out, so I'm excited for that one. Number 2 on the 3 Count, Leon Ruff is your new NXT North American champion. Kind of a bit of a surprise. Well, not a bit of a surprise, a big surprise. Leon Ruff taking that title off of Johnny Gargano. Now, I think the main point of this is that, Johnny Gargano, as many times as he's held championships, he's never made it past his first defense. So they were kind of, playing on that. Gargano had the wheel, picked his opponent. The wheel was gimmicked and so that it would land on Leon Ruff. Gargano obviously thinking it would be an easy victory, and he still managed to lose the title in his first defense. So Leon Ruff is your NXT North American champion. And number 3 this week, we saw the return of the Bastard Pac on AEW Dynamite. Definitely a big surprise. He hasn't been on TV. Well, I mean, we've seen like vignettes and videos from him, but hasn't been on TV on an AEW Dynamite live, actually there in the arena, in months. I want to say like 8 months or something like that. Came out, confronted Eddie Kingston because, of course, prior to the pandemic hitting and Pac being stuck in the UK because of travel restrictions, he was part of a group called the Death Triangle with the Lucha Brothers. And Lucha Brothers now obviously are part of Eddie Kingston's family, as he calls it. So, pretty good story developing there between Kingston and Pac. So I'm curious to see where they're going to go with this one. So moving into the news and rumors for the week. Monday Night Raw, Matt Riddle qualifies for the Men's Survivor Series team, and we saw an interesting tag match: Matt Riddle and Keith Lee versus Sheamus and Braun Strowman, with AJ Styles as the special referee. And this was the point of this was, all 5 of these guys are part of the Survivor Series team, and this was to kind of get all of the aggression out, and so that they can function as a unit. Decent match with those 4 guys in there, you expect nothing less. We saw Shayna Baszler pick up a victory over Lana. I don't think that's too big of a surprise. We saw a segment in the back between Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. Nikki basically confronting Alexa, saying that she needs to choose between Nikki or The Fiend. And Alexa, of course, chose The Fiend. So they're still continuing the Alexa and Nikki Cross story. I don't know where they're going to go with this one. Is it going to end up in a match with the 2 of them, or what's going to happen? But, obviously tying into the whole storyline with The Fiend and Alexa Bliss. Last couple weeks on Raw, we've been seeing a lot of stuff in the back between Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. Now, I think everybody knows, these 2 came up together in the UK scene. They were a tag team for a long time before they got to WWE. So I like that they're playing on the relationship. I'm not sure if they're going to end up being rivals or partners, but it's definitely leading somewhere with these 2 guys. So personally, I'd like to see them as tag team partners, but I think a rivalry between the 2 of them would be great as well, because they do match up so well. They've got similar finishing moves between the Claymore and the Brogue Kick. So either way it goes, I'm liking the Drew McIntyre and Sheamus story that's kind of just getting started. We saw Asuka pick up a victory over Nia Jax via disqualification when Shayna Baszler interfered. Nia and Shayna basically proceeded to beat down their 3 partners for Survivor Series: Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, and Lana. We saw Mustafa Ali defeat Ricochet. And really the first victory for Ali and his group, Retribution. So hopefully we're going to see a little bit of a shift here, towards Retribution being a little bit more dominant, because I think that's a direction they should have gone with them from the get-go. But for some reason, the powers that be decided they shouldn't win any matches for some odd reason. And then the main event, we saw Drew McIntyre and the New Day pick up the win over Randy Orton and The Miz and Morrison. And we found out next week there are going to be 2 title matches on Monday Night Raw. Drew McIntyre getting his rematch against Randy Orton for the WWE Championship, and the New Day will be defending the tag titles against the Hurt Business. So there's definitely some Survivor Series implications with these. If the titles change hands in either one of those, it's going to mean change to the Survivor Series card. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not expecting the WWE Championship to change hands, but I think we could possibly see new tag team champions in the Hurt Business. That's just my 2 cents on those matches. So we'll see what happens. Moving on to NXT, I already talked about Leon Ruff defeating Johnny Gargano to become the new North American champion. Santos Escobar picked up a victory over Jake Atlas. We saw Raquel Gonzalez just put a beat down on Boa. It was supposed to be Raquel Gonzalez versus Xia Li. Xia Li didn't show up. Boa came out to let Raquel know that Xia was not there, and Raquel proceeded to beat Boa pretty good. And then another gentleman from the back came out and delivered a letter to Boa, kind of the same fashion that Boa's been delivering letters to Xia Li. So I'm curious to see where this is all leading. I'm assuming there's someone behind the scenes that's kind of pulling the strings, and with Boa and Xia Li and everything that's going on. So I'm hoping for a good reveal on this to see exactly what the deal is. Candice LeRae picked up a win over Toni Storm, and then we saw the person in the Ghostface mask again come out during that match. Shotzi Blackheart came out to try to take some revenge out on Candice LeRae for destroying her tank, and Shotzi caught a beat down herself, and the person in the Ghostface mask was revealed to be Indy Hartwell, which I don't think is too big of a surprise, because she's been kind of trying to get in the good graces of Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano the last several weeks. We saw Timothy Thatcher pick up a victory over Dexter Lumis, which was a little bit of a surprise to me. I would have expected Lumis to win this, but there was interference from Cameron Grimes, so that did play a part in that. Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch successfully defended the NXT Tag Team titles in a rematch against Breezango. And then we found out next week for the women's title, we're going to see the matchup between Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley, so that should be a pretty good one. And Finn Balor also to make an appearance on NXT this coming week, so I guess we'll find out what the state of the NXT Championship is, because obviously that has not been defended since Balor received a pretty bad injury in his match against Kyle O'Reilly. Broke his jaw in 2 places, required surgery. So we're going to find out what's the status of the NXT Championship this coming Wednesday. Then moving on to Smackdown from Friday, opening segment of the show, we saw Drew McIntyre come out and confront Roman Reigns, saying he's going to take the WWE Championship from Randy Orton on Raw, and it'll be Drew facing Roman at the Survivor Series. Jey Uso came down to the ring, got in McIntyre's face, and that match was set up for the main event for the show. Sami Zayn defeated Apollo Crews by a countout of all things. We don't see too many countout victories anymore. Sasha Banks came to the ring to give a promo. Bayley came out to the ramp, and while Sasha was paying attention to Bayley, we saw an attack from Carmella. So Carmella is being thrust right into the SmackDown Women's Championship picture since her return. Rey Mysterio was able to defeat Seth Rollins in what was billed as the final battle with these two. Was a no-holds-barred match. We saw Buddy Murphy make his final turn against Seth Rollins. Last week, it kind of looked like Murphy was going back with Rollins. Apparently that was all a big ruse. Murphy helped Rey Mysterio pick up the victory, and Murphy was then accepted by Rey Mysterio and Dominic, and and the Mysterio family, basically. So I think the point of this was to end this rivalry, because Seth Rollins is taking time off. I think everybody knows by now Becky Lynch is pregnant with their first child and is due, I believe, within the next month. So it makes sense that Seth is going to be off TV for a little while with his new family. So and then Liv Morgan qualified for the Women's Survivor Series team on SmackDown. There's still, I believe, 2 spots open that are going to have to be filled this coming week before the pay-per-view. So it'll be interesting to see who's going to take those last 2 spots on the SmackDown Women's team. And, the last few weeks it's been Natalya kind of campaigning that she should be just put on the team, and she's been in a number of qualifying matches and has not won any of those. So she's been making pleas to Adam Pearce to just put her on the team. So we'll have to see how this is all going to work out. And in that qualifying match where Liv Morgan did pick up the victory, Chelsea Green made her SmackDown debut and unfortunately suffered yet another wrist injury that's going to require surgery again. So Chelsea Green going to be out probably, I would say, at least a couple of months now. Unfortunately for her, hasn't been featured consistently on WWE TV at all, and when she has made a debut on one show or another, she gets injured and ends up having to be out for an extended period of time. And then the main event, Drew McIntyre did pick up the victory over Jey Uso. Had a little bit of a face-to-face with Roman Reigns after that match. Roman basically, with the Universal title over his shoulder, said, yeah, go get yourself one of these and we can talk on Sunday. So we'll have to see. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing McIntyre versus Roman or Orton versus Roman. I don't think you can go wrong with either one of those. It's going to be a good match either way. Some miscellaneous WWE news. Zelina Vega, real name Thea Trinidad, was released from WWE just a couple days ago. And this is apparently stemming from WWE's edict about talent not having or not working with third-party streaming services like Twitch and things like that. And Zelina had a huge Twitch presence. The word is she was making more from her social media, Twitch and things like that, than she was from her WWE contract. And remember, this is, the rumors from Meltzer and the dirt sheets and things like that. But, she basically had a choice to make, keep her Twitch or stay with WWE. She chose to keep her Twitch. And I mean, obviously, if she was making more money with Twitch than she was with WWE, that's a no-brainer. You're going to go with wherever you're making the best living. So, she has been released. She's under a 90-day no-compete, so she won't be able to be on TV anywhere until February. But I expect to see her pop up somewhere as soon as that 90-day no-compete is over with, be it in Impact, where she's been before. She was Knockouts Tag Team Champion in Impact, or in AEW, who sorely needs talent in their women's division to build it up a little bit more. I think either one of those would be a viable option for her. So, and either one of those are also going to allow her to keep her Twitch channel going. So, don't expect Zelina to be off of TV for too long. And along the same story, apparently Aleister Black has requested to go back to NXT a number of times over the last couple of months and has been denied for some reason. I don't understand why, because they're not using him on TV very much or very consistently. So I can definitely see why he'd want to go back to NXT. Why it would be denied, I don't know, unless they have some sort of grand plan for him. But I don't really see that happening. So who knows? But it wouldn't surprise me to see Aleister Black requesting his release in the upcoming months if everything that's been rumored to be going on behind the scenes is true. Moving into some AEW news, looks like AEW has a pretty good working relationship with Impact. On the Full Gear pay-per-view, we saw Don Callis on commentary for the Kenny Omega Hangman Page match. Now, obviously, Kenny Omega and Don Callis, very good friends, known each other for a very long time. But, Don Callis is an executive VP at Impact, so to see him on an AEW pay-per-view, not just make an appearance, but actually on commentary for a match, that's pretty big. So I think a working relationship between Impact and AEW would be a good thing. There's a lot that can be done there, especially as far as just one aspect of it, the Bullet Club, or the former Bullet Club. You've got the Good Brothers in Impact. It'd be pretty cool to see them pop up on an AEW show, especially now with the Bucks being AEW tag champions. Good Brothers just won the Impact tag team titles last night. There's just a lot that can be done, not even just with those guys, but there's so many other great matches that could be made. So hopefully that's something that'll continue and grow. On AEW Dark this past week, we saw the debut of a tag team known as TNT. Terrence and Terrell Hughes, sons of Devon Dudley, made their debut on Dark. Then on Dynamite, we saw a bit of a confrontation between Cody and a new member of the AEW women's roster. Jade Cargill came out kind of talking smack to Cody while he was in the ring, because of Cody referring to himself as a giant killer after picking up victories over Brody Lee and Lance Archer and things like that. And she said she's got basically that she's got her own giant, and it turned out she's talking about Shaq. So are we going to see Shaquille O'Neal in AEW? I don't know, kind of odd. But then we saw Brandy come out and get in Cargill's face. Brandy cutting a nice little promo on Jade Cargill. So I'm always impressed with Brandy on the mic. I think she's very underrated. People like to talk so much trash about Brandy Rhodes, but when it comes to her promo skills, she is very, very good. She always impresses me when she's got a microphone in her hand. So I'm sure that's probably a match we're going to see at some point. Before we move on with the Dynamite stuff, let's go through the results of AEW Full Gear real quick here. Serena Deeb successfully defended the NWA World Women's Championship against Allison Kay, picked up the win by submission. Kenny Omega is now the number one contender for the AEW World title with his victory over Hangman Page in a great match between those two guys. I expected nothing less. Orange Cassidy defeated John Silver. Darby Allin is your new TNT champion in what I would call the match of the night, second only to the FTR and Young Bucks match that I talked about earlier. But Cody and Darby, those two they've had several matches in AEW, and they always tear it up in the ring. I love watching these two go against each other. Hikaru Shida retained the AEW World Women's Championship against Nyla Rose. I already talked about the Bucks defeating FTR for the tag team titles. Matt Hardy picked up the victory over Sammy Guevara in the Elite Deletion match, and this was along the same lines as the broken Matt Hardy matches that we saw in Impact. It was at the Hardy compound. We saw cameo spots from Gangrel and Hurricane Helms, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great cinematic match. I loved it. MJF defeated Chris Jericho, so MJF now is a member of the Inner Circle. And Jon Moxley picked up the win over Eddie Kingston in an I Quit match to retain the AEW World Championship. Again, another great match. This was all around a great pay-per-view for AEW, one of the best ones that they've done since they started. So moving back onto Dynamite now, we saw Brian Cage and Ricky Starks came out and went after Cody during that same promo where Jade Cargill came out and was talking trash to him. Darby Allin and Will Hobbs came in and made the save, so I'm sure that's a match that we're gonna be seeing coming up pretty soon. Darby and Hobbs and Cage and Starks. I'm sure Cody will be involved in there somewhere. And another note about Cody, he is now going by Cody Rhodes. He was introduced that way for the first time at Full Gear, and the crowd that was there went nuts for it. So congrats to Cody on getting the rights to his name back and once again being Cody Rhodes. We found out that the World Championship match between Moxley and Kenny Omega is going to take place on December the 2nd, so just a couple weeks away, and that will be on Dynamite. Kind of surprising. I thought they would have put that one off until Revolution, which is going to be coming up in February on the February 27th. So I figured they would have built that one up for a while, but they're pulling the trigger on this one real quick. So December 2nd, we're going to see that Moxley and Omega match. The Natural Nightmares picked up a win over the Butcher and the Blade in an old-fashioned bunkhouse match. I loved this match between the Natural Nightmares and Butcher and Blade. The bunkhouse match, something created by Dusty Rhodes back in the day, and I think Dusty would have been very proud of this one. It was a great old school, bunkhouse match. We saw MJF's induction into the Inner Circle, and apparently he's taking the whole Inner Circle to Vegas this week. Should be interesting. I kind of feel another musical number coming on, so we'll have to see what happens with that. Pentagon picked up the victory over Rey Fenix. Rematch. Excuse me, a rematch from a few weeks ago during the that World Title Eliminator tournament where Phoenix was victorious the first time around. Now, after the match, we saw Eddie Kingston get in the ring congratulating Pentagon and basically kicked Phoenix out of the ring, like literally, pushed him out of the ring and, saying that Pentagon doesn't need him and things like that. And then this is where we saw the appearance of Pac making his return. So, and Pac will be making his in-ring return next week, taking on the Blade from the Butcher and Blade. Also next week, we're going to see a return match for the NWA World Women's title. Serena Deeb defending against Thunder Rosa, who she defeated for that title. And then for the World Tag Team titles, the Bucks making their first defense against a team of Top Flight, Darius and Dante Martin, also known as Airwolf and Angel Dorado. Fantastic young high-flying brother tag team. Airwolf made a number of appearances in MLW. Both of these guys appeared at the last Warrior Wrestling show that Charlie and I called. Airwolf, one of my favorite independent guys. And his brother, Angel Dorado, I've only seen him a couple of times, but he's right up there with Airwolf as far as skill and ability and talent. So this should be an amazing match between two really, really good tag teams this coming week. So I'm looking forward to this one a lot. A little bit of New Japan news. Jay White has defeated Kota Ibushi for the briefcase, allowing him to to challenge Naito for the heavyweight and intercontinental titles at Wrestle Kingdom. Kind of interesting that they took the case away from Ibushi. I would have expected him to retain that and to challenge Naito at Wrestle Kingdom, but not the case. So we'll have to see where New Japan's going with this one. Is Jay White gonna be your next heavyweight and intercontinental champion for New Japan? Some Impact news. Excuse me. From Impact last Tuesday, Rohit Raju defeated TJP yet again. So TJP now no longer can challenge for the X Division title while Rohit is the champion. And also kind of a little bit of a surprise announcement. The Rascals are leaving Impact Wrestling. They showed one of their Treehouse segments. They received a letter saying that they were evicted from the Treehouse, and it was announced in the same segment that they're departing from Impact. So I'm curious to see where the Rascals are going to end up. Again, one of my favorite teams. Called all of their matches at Warrior Wrestling, which is always a challenge, but it's always a hell of a lot of fun. So where are the Rascals going to end up from here? I'm sure they're going to end up somewhere. They're not just going to go away. So it'll be interesting to see where the Rascals end up. But for their last Impact appearance, they will be involved in an interesting tag team match. It's going to be this coming week on Impact. It is going to be Trey and Rich Swann taking on Dez and Wentz in a tag team match. So that's like I said, it's interesting that they're splitting Trey from the group and having them on opposite sides, but it's going to be a great match either way. So we'll have to see where it goes. The Knockouts Tag Team Tournament will be starting up this coming week, and the bracket was released by Impact this weekend. First round, we've got Tennille Dashwood teaming with Alicia Edwards. Kind of an interesting last-minute team there. Their first round match is against Havoc and Nevaeh. Then we've got Deonna Purrazzo and Kimber Lee taking on Taya and Rosemary in the first round. Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz taking on the independent tag team known as the Sea Stars. And then Killer Kelly and Renee Michelle. Renee, of course, the wife of Rockstar Spud, and Killer Kelly, formerly with NXT UK, taking on Jordan Grace and a partner to be named. So Jordan still does not have a partner, but she is in the tournament. So I'm expecting possibly a big debut or something like that coming up this week on Impact. Impact had another one of their streaming specials last night, and let's run that down here real quick. Okay, here we go. Eddie Edwards picked up a win over Sean Davari. Rosemary and Taya defeated Tennille Dashwood and Jordan Grace, so that's why apparently that tag team is not going to last. Brian Myers picked up a victory over Swoggle. Chris Sabin and James Storm defeated the team of Triple XL, AC Ramiro and Larry D. Now, apparently this was James Storm's last agreed appearance for Impact, so not sure where he's going to go from here. Don't know if he's there's been conflicting reports. Is he still under contract with NWA? Is he not? I mean, he and Eli Drake did drop the NWA tag team titles to Aaron Stevens and JR Kratos. So I'm thinking James Storm probably done with NWA as well. So a lot of talk about him possibly going to WWE, putting him back with Bobby Roode, which I'd have no problem with if they're used properly, which with WWE, that's always a coin toss as to whether or not that's going to happen. Rohit Raju defeated Cousin Jake for the X Division Championship. And at the end of this match, we saw Eric Young come out with Joe Doring. Now, Joe Doring, known mostly for his time in All Japan Pro Wrestling, where he's a former two-time Triple Crown champion, but came out and put a beat down on the Deaners, so it looks like Joe Doring is now kind of the enforcer for Eric Young, I would assume. So we'll see what's going on with him. Willie Mack defeated Moose by a DQ. And this one, I'm assuming was for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. So obviously you can't win the title by a DQ. So Moose still the TNA champion. The Good Brothers are your new Impact Tag Team champions with their win over the North. Deonna Purrazzo defeated Su Yung to once again win the Impact Knockouts Championship. So with the Knockouts Tag Team tournament coming up, Deonna Purrazzo looking to be a double champion if she and Kimberly can get past Taya and Rosemary in that first round. And Rich Swann defeated Sami Callihan to retain the Impact World Championship. A little bit of MLW news. 2 matches announced for their return this coming week on the 18th of November. Davey Boy Smith Jr. will be challenging Jacob Fatu for the World Heavyweight Championship, and Brian Pillman Jr. will be challenging Myron Reed for the Middleweight Championship. So 2 fantastic matches to kick off the return of MLW to TV. So that's going to wrap it up for news and rumors for the week. So right now I'm going to throw it over to Charlie G, and he is here with an extended edition of the Indie Cut.
Thank you, Tom, and hey to wrestling friends. I am Charlie G with your Indie Cut. It's kind of long, so let's head to Friday, November 6th, and Mission Pro Wrestling Tournament of Hell. That is Thunder Rosa's promotion in Buda, Texas, where they had their first Mission Pro title tournament first round matches. Maddie Rinkowski defeated Jenna Lynn. Rachel Rose defeated Vanity. La Rosa Negra defeated Heidi Howitzer. Lacey Ryan defeated Vert Vixen. Then in between, it was Thunder Rosa defeating Ray Lynn. You've all heard them at Warrior Wrestling before. On to the title tournament semi-matches. It was La Rosa Negra defeating Manny Brankowski, and Lacey Ryan defeated Rachel Rose. The finals will take place at their next show, hopefully in December. On to Saturday, November 7th. Sorry about that. Westside Extreme Wrestling Grand Prix Day 12. Prince Ahura, who has 2 points now, defeated Vincent Hasenberg, who has 0. Pro Wrestling Wave Rhapsody Volume 48 took place, where Dual Shock Wave Tournament 3-way tag match took place, where Atsuki Aiki and Rin Katakura defeated Ami Sasamura and Rina Singaki. Also Luminous of Hiraka Yumasaki and Mikyo Takashi. On to my favorite of Tokiyoshi Pro, Wrestle Princess Day 5. Where Sina Siora and Suzumi defeated Mei Segura and Moka Miyamoto. Mahiro Kiru and Pam Harajuku defeated Runa Neko and Marika Kobashi. In the International Princess title tournament semi-matches, Akari Noah defeated Mirai Miyamura Mayumi, and Yuka Kamafuki defeated Soka Nakajima. That was kind of a minor upset there. Yuna Manazi defeated Raku. In a Wrestle Princess switching random rules match, which was kind of funny to watch, Saki Akai defeated Hyper Michio. Aja Kong and Miyu Yamashita defeated Maki Ito and Sari, who is on her way to the WWE eventually. In the International Princess title final match, Yuki Kamafuki defeated Hikari Noah to become new champion. In the Princess Tag title match, Nodeka Tenma and Yuki Oino defeated Miyu Watanabe and Rika Tatsumi to become new champions. And in the Princess title match, champion Yuka Sakazaki defeated Mizuki in a very good match, heartfelt match, you might say. Then on to Stardom, Goddesses of Stardom Tag League Day 8. Hanan defeated Rina. Starlight Kid defeated Raka and Saya Ida. In the tag league matches, Queen's Quest of Saya Kamatani and Utami Hayashita, who has now 3 points, defeated Gokigen Death and Riho, who has 4 points. Donna Demondo of Himeka and Sairi, who has 6 points, defeated Odatai of Natsuka Tora and Saki Kashima. And finally, of Odatai, B. Priestley and Konami, who have 7 points, defeated Donna Demondo, team of Julia and Maki, who have 4 points. Then it was on to New Japan Pro Struggle. For the Never Openweight title, Shingo Takagi defeated Minoru Suzuki to become the champion. That was a hard-hitting match. Katsushika Okada defeated Great Okan by referee's decision. For the IWGP United States Heavyweight briefcase, Kenta retained, defeating Hiroshi Tanahashi. And then for the IWGP heavyweight title and intercontinental briefcase, Jay White actually defeated Kota Ibushi to get the briefcase instead. So it'll be Jay White now against Naito for the heavyweight and intercontinental title. And then in the main event, it was for the IWGP heavyweight title and intercontinental title. Tatsuya Naito defeated Evil, which will set up Wrestle Kingdom. And Naito actually asked to face Ibushi on January 4th. So he will face Ibushi on January 4th. And the winner of that will be face Jay White on January 5th. That should be interesting. Then on to Ice Ribbon 1079. Nothing really big took place there. Dragon Gate, Gate of Evolution 2020, Day 3, where Team Dragon Gate of Benkei and Kota Minoura defeated Modeka Kikata and Ultimo Dragon. Team Torimon of Masato Yoshino and Shuji Kondo defeated Team Dragon Gate of KZ and UT. And then for RED 8, SB Kento and Takashi Yoshida defeated Team Torimon of Dragon Kid, Kodatora, and Naruki Doi. Then on to Big Japan Wrestling. Drew Parker and Yuko Miyamoto defeated Abdullah Kobayashi and Shima by countout. And then there was a quick rematch of Abdullah and Kobayashi and Shima defeated Drew Parker and Yuko Miyamoto. So they both got wins that night. 6-man tag, Strong Hearts of El Lindemann and T-Hawk teamed with Rishi Kawakami to defeat Daichi Hashimoto, Daisuke Sakamoto, and Yu Oki. And then in another show, Daisuke Sakamoto defeated Koseki Sato. Then there was Active Advanced Pro Wrestling Chiba Zoo Festa 2020, Day 1. So it looks like they fought in a zoo. So that had to be cool. Then down to Pro Wrestling Powerrr Fallout 2020 from Queensland, Australia. For their PWP title, no DQ match, E10 defeated champion Shinji to become new champion. Sticking in Australia, PWA Black Label Movember to Remember. Kyle Fletcher defeated Shaja McKenzie. Nice to see her back in action. For the Goober Open Challenge match, Faye Pierce defeated Will Kiedis. And in a non-title two-way match, Jessica Troy defeated Charlie Evans and Steph DeLander. Still in Australia for Explosive Pro Wrestling, School of Pro Wrestling Showcase number 11, Unfinished Business. Joe Hagan defeated El Toro Blanco. Julian Ward defeated Del Cano. In their Super 9 tournament Block B matches, Edith Knight defeated Jules Kanan. Zenith defeated Bruno Nitro. And James Hartness defeated Jesse Lambert. Then to the States, finally, in Idaho Wrestle Club Stampede Series 2020. For the Wrestle Club heavyweight title, Garibal, who was champion, defeated Rusty Livens. For the Wrestle Club Potato Bowl title match, champion Jay Cruz defeated Marcus Anderson. And in the Stampede Series elimination match, James Grimm, Marcus Anderson, Mega Masca, and Ultimo Action Panqueto defeated Brad Zane, Dr. Steve Superbeasto, Jay Cruz, and John Henry. Then on to World League Wrestling from Troy, Missouri. For their heavyweight title, Moses Powell defeated champion Dag Stone by DQ, so no title change there. And then in the heavyweight title, 6-man title match, Kyle Roberts, Leland Race, and Moses Powell defeated champions Cameron Jackson, Derek Stone, and John Webb to become new champions. Unified Wrestling Oklahoma from Midwest City, Oklahoma. For their EPW Internet Television title and NCWO title match, the EPW champ Raven defeated Mannix Jones, who is their NCWO champion, by countout, so no title change there. And in a Buzzsaw title hardcore match, champion Brawler Morrison defeated Drake Gallows. On to Southern Fried Championship Wrestling Civil War. In their Civil War match, Ben Buchanan and David Manders defeated Adrian Hawkins and Todd Sexton by DQ. To Ring Wars Carolina Homecoming 2020. Let's see here. For the AIWF TV title, Gemstone defeated champion Onyx Black to become new champion. Down to Pro Wrestling King Now or Never from Muskawa, Indiana. In their Adam Bueller Memorial Title Infinity Gauntlet match, the winner was Lifeguard Josh. For their Cruiserweight title, Stephen Joshier defeated champion Mitch Onyx to become the champion. And their Congo Kong actually wrestled, and he defeated Theo Storm. For the PWK North American title, Damian Easterday defeated champion Chris Gordon to become new champion. And for the PWK North American title, Mitchell Taylor defeated champion Damian Easterday soon thereafter to become new champion. There was a Peach State Wrestling Alliance from Heflin, Alabama show that took place. Then Ohio Valley Wrestling had a Saturday night special, Nightmare Cup 2020. In the Nightmare Cup final, it was the Tate twins of Brandon Tate and Brent Tate defeating Dustin Jackson and Ryan Howe. And in their OVW Southern Tag title, the Tate twins, Brandon Tate and Brent Tate, defeated champions The Legacy of Brutality, Cashflow, and Josh Ashcroft to become new champions. Then to New Wave Pro Wrestling November Rain from Terre Haute, Indiana. NWP Ultra Rapid title ladder match. Nate Matthews defeated champion Aaron Atlas to become the champion. And in their NWP title, Solomon Tupu defeated champion Justin Kyle to become new champion there as well. Then on to International Wrestling Cartel Homecoming from Pennsylvania. Sam Adonis defeated Cole Carter. In their IWC Women's title match, Katie Arquette defeated champion Ray Lynn to become new champion. In the IWC Super Indie title match, champion Brian Pillman Jr. Defeated Spencer Slade. So that's good to hear. And then their IWC World Heavyweight title #1 contendership match, Jake Pollock defeated Andrew Palace. Then to IWA Mid-South, somebody's gonna hurt somebody. One title change there for their IWA Mid-South Tag Team titles in a 4-way match. Piper and Prima Donnie defeated Alex Crowley, who are champions Alex Crowley and Becky Idol. Joe Travis and Joshi Boy, and Jordan Whitaker and Ray Waddell. Then to Game Changer Wrestling Nick Cage Invitational 5. In the final, it was a final Taipei death match where Mance Warner defeated Masada. Sorry about that. I really didn't watch that show too much, so catch that if you can. American Premier Wrestling from Statesboro, Georgia took place. Then AEW Full Gear took place. That was a great show, so catch that out if you can. Then up to Rio Canadian Wrestling Saturday Night Fights. For the ICW British Commonwealth title match, champion Nate Nixon defeated Cody Mack. And in a Gladiator Cup final match, Giant Orion defeated Sydney Steele. Okay, then now on to Sunday, November 8th. Stardom, Goddess of Stardom Tag League Final Day 9. All these were great matches. They're all Tag League matches for the final day. So for the Stars, Hanan and Saida got 2 points, defeating Gokigen Death and Riho, who stuck with 4. Odatai of Natsuka Toro and Saki Kashima got 4 points, defeating Odatai, B. Priestley, and Konami, who had 7. So then it was Queen's Quest of Saya Kamitani and Utami Hayashita, who got 5 points, defeating the Stars of Mina Shirakawa and Tam Nakano, who had 4. Queen's Quest of Azumi and Momo Watanabe, who have now 8 points, defeating the Stars of Mayu Iwatani and Starlight Kid, who had 4. Then it was Donna Damondo of Julia and Maki, who have 6 points, defeating Hameka and Siri, who also had 6 points. So the finals was Queen's Quest of Azumi and Momo Watanabe, defeating Donna Damondo of Julia and Maki in a great match. Even though they were tired, but still a great match nonetheless. Great show, really. So check that out if you can. There was a Pro Wrestling Noah Premium Prelude Day 4 that took place, where the GHC Junior Heavyweight title of Daisuke Harada defeating champion Kotaro Suzuki to become new champion. Then there was an Ice Ribbon versus Shinjuku Nichom Joshi Pro Wrestling afternoon and evening shows. So yeah, there was a title change where Ram Kaichu defeated Hiragi Kirumo and Lady Koji, who was champions, to become champion there. And there's a Triangle Ribbon title change there. Then on to Dragon Gate Evolution Day 4, where Team Dragon Gate of Ben K, Jason Lee, and KZ defeated RED of Dia Inferno, Eita, and SB Kento. Eita, you don't get the long name since you lost. Also that night, there was Dragon Kid, Masato Yoshino, and Ultimo Dragon defeating Roku Smuzu, Naoki Doi, and Punch Tamanaga. On to DDT TV show number 11 for the over 40 title. Toru Owashi defeated Gorgeous Matsuno to become new champion. And for the DDT Universal title, champion Yuki Uno defeated Mao. There was a World Woman Pro Wrestling Diana show on YouTube, so check those matches out if you want. There was a Big Japan Pro Wrestling show as well, where for the BJW tag titles, the Astronauts of Fuminara Abe and Takura Numero were champions, defeating Daichi Hashimoto and Hideyoshi Kamatani. Then down to Future Wrestling Australia, Revolution 3. For the FWA heavyweight title, champion Ricky South defeated Mick Moretti. And in their women's title, champion Tarly defeated Rochelle Rogue. Then up to the States with Without a Cause, Without a Crowd number 2 from Everett, Washington on Twitch. I still have not found them yet, so check them out if you can. Then I was on to GCW So Much Fun from Atlantic City, New Jersey, where Joy Janela and Kevin Gill were on commentary. So that was pretty good for my liking. I'm not sure about everyone else's. Jordan Oliver defeated Juicy Finau. AJ Gray defeated Ace Austin, Arrow Boy, Holodead, Joe Keys, and Levi Everett. Atticus Cogar defeated Carl Radrick. Blake Christian defeated Leo Rush in a very good match there. Iron Beast of KTB and Shane Mercer defeated Dudley Ducklings of Lance Lude and Rob Killjoy. Chris Dickinson defeated Eric Ryan. And then Tony Deppen defeated Alex Zane in what was Zane's last indie match. Kind of got bloody there with the double knees of Zane busting open Deppen. But he still did a promo at the end of the match. So thanking Alex and wishing him all the best. And then Alex thanked the crowd and all the wrestlers who were ringside. So good match there. And then for the GCW World Title, Ricky Shane Page pretty much cheated to win against Mance Warner. And the referee accounted 3 for Mance to win. But Ricky Shane Page's leg was underneath the rope, so the match restarted. And all hell broke loose when Nick Gage came out and beat up all these other guys and the ref. So it was a wild ending. But RSP is still your champ there. Then on to also Pro Wrestling Bethlehem, Oklahoma. There was a show that took place there. Then on Monday, November 9th, WXW, Bobby Guns defeated Hector Invictus. Rio Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Style Pro Wrestling Volume 7, where Sari and Yoshiko defeated Zap I and Zap T. So she's still getting her way to the WWE. Okay, then PWA Black Label, PWA Premiership Day 4. They did a kind of a Block A and Block B matches. Nothing real big there. Tuesday, November 7th, WXW Fast Time Muto defeated Annie Manerick. Pro Wrestling Freedoms, Go For It, Freedoms 2020. UWA World Junior Heavyweight Title, champion Camus defeated Dragon Libre. There was a Big Japan Wrestling show there that day as well. And then Pro Wrestling Basra 139 for the Union Pro Max title. Takumi Sakimoto defeated champion Fuminara Abe. to become new champion there. Then to the States and Northeast Wrestling Studio Wars #1 for their live title. Champion Christian Casanova defeated Eli Marcopalos. There was a New South Pro Wrestling Action Class #9. Heavy Metal Wrestling New Texas Pro Wrestling Grand Prix Week 6. OVW 1109, where Brian Pillman Jr. defeated KTD. Nice going there. Then on United Wrestling Network Live #9 for the World Title Semifinals. Chris Dickinson defeated Fred Rosser, and Mike Bennett defeated Sean Devari. For the FSW Women's Title, champion Lacey Ryan defeated Viperous. And another NWA World Tag Team Title change where Aaron Stevens was supposed to be with the question mark Karate. He didn't show, so it was J.R. Kronos instead, defeating Eli Drake and James Storm. So that mess of a tag team championship reign is over. So we'll see where they go from there. Wednesday, November 11th, WXW, Avalanche defeated Cara Noir. Mild upset there, I would have to say. Marvelous, that's Women's Pro Wrestling show took place. Just Tap Out Professional Wrestling ran took place, where Suzy Suzuki defeated Tomeka Inaba, and Yuji Hino defeated Taka Michinoku. Go to Move Pro Wrestling, Gotta Move Chaka Pro #63. On YouTube, there was an I Quit tag match with Chris Brooks and Yuno Mizumura defeating Emi Sakura and Lulu Pencil in a very long match, so check that out if you can. Actress Girls show with Actress Girls title match of champion Miyuki Takase defeating Andres Miyagi. Then back here in the States, Limitless The Road show season 2 show #4. In a Kaiju Grand title match, champion American Beetle defeated Perry Von Vicious. And in IWTV, The Masked Wrestler show #5. Genke, still not known, defeated Skid, who turned out to be Joshua Bishop, was actually guessed by the Brickster of all people. So good going there on that guess. Unlike last week where Chris Statlander guessed Trey Lamar. So they're getting closer to knowing who these guys are once they get to the later matches. On to Thursday, November 12th, WXW, Marius Alaeni defeated Norman Harras. DDT Damnation Produce Illegal Assembly Returns Volume 2. The Daisuke Sasaki 15th Anniversary Special. So there was the tag match. The loser can't use the name Daisuke. So it's Daisuke Sakamoto and Yuko Miyamoto versus Daisuke Sasaki and Tsuji Ishikawa. And that went to a 30-minute time limit draw and a very fun match, so check that out if you can. There was a No Peace Underground body count battle from Orlando, Florida. There was no rings, just death matches on a stage or on the floor, so I really did not watch this. So some of the highlights were Kevin Blackwood defeating Akira, EC3 of all people defeating Akis Kogar, AJ Gray defeated Manders. For the NPU title, no ring deathmatch championship, Eric Ryan defeated Kit Osborne, and then a 15-man elimination body count battle match. Alley Cat was the winner. So yeah, IWA Mid-South Fan Appreciation Night, where the main event was champion Jay Christ, who is the heavyweight champion, defeating the juniorweight champion of Logan James to become dual champion there. Yeah, it was a 30-minute Iron Man match of all things, so he won two falls to one. Then on to AAW Alive number 3 from Marionette Park, Illinois. Matches were in the dark matches: Xavier Walker defeating Cole, and Jason Page defeating Sam Beal. The main show was Ace Perrin defeating Braden Lee, Myron Reed defeating Trey Lamar in an awesome match. Christy James and Sky Blue defeating Hyan and Sierra. Sierra actually replaced Elena Black, who they said had a knee injury, so I hope Elena is alright and nothing major is going on there. That was a cool match there too as well. Then Frey Yehai defeated Jake Something. Very good match between those. And that was the last I saw due to technical difficulties. So it was AEW Tag Team Title, best 2 out of 3 falls. Ace Austin and Madman Fulton, who are champions, defeated the besties in the world of Davey Vega and Matt Fitchett, 2 falls to 1. Karam defeated Gassi. Stephen Wolf defeated Trey Miguel. Then Beer Country of Beer Boulder and Beer Brunson defeated Triple XL of AC Romero and Larry Day. And for the AAW Heavyweight title match, champion Mance Warner defeated Hakeem Zayn. No idea if they will hold a show in December due to Illinois restricting things even more. So, who knows? But hope AEW can run one more show before the year is out. On to Friday, November 13th. WXW, Faceless defeated Vincent Heisenberg. Big Japan Pro Wrestling did a show with a bunch of light tubes, so check that out if you want. Chaka Pro number 64 took place. ICW No Holds Barred Pitfire number 4. I'll go through the results here, even though I did not watch it due to some other things going on, like Smackdown and Talking Shopomania. So Eric Ryan defeated Jimmy Lloyd. Dominic Rini defeated Eddie Only. Akira defeated Nolan Edward. A very long match there. Eric Atticus Kogar defeated Reed Bentley. John Wayne Murdoch defeated Alex Ocean. And Slack defeated Neil Diamond Cutter. New Japan Pro Wrestling from the States. Strong 15 took place. Adrian Quest and Alex Zane defeated ACH and Blake Christian. Tom Lawler defeated Fred Rosser. The team of Brody King, Bruce Robinson, and Carl Fredericks defeated Chase Owens, Jay White, and Tonga Loa. And then Tama Tonga defeated PJ Black. And then on to a show I almost forgot was happening. Talking Shopomania 2, Rise of the Torturer. I don't care. They say this is one of the worst pay-per-views ever. It's one of the funniest and coolest ones of the year, next to their other Talking Shopomania. Commentary was Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson, and Rocky Romero. We start off with Southpaw Regional Wrestling's own Clint Popsky welcoming us to the show, and then swearing off camera, where's his payment? Then we had Brian Myers and Swaggle defeating Rimjob and Rory Fox. Freight Train with Ball Layman defeated Frankie Coverdale. Then we had Detective Helms try to interview Sammy Callahan and Madman Fulton until they were shot. Then Teddy Long presented Roll Under Shed match. So they all fought under a shed on a tarp in Gallows' backyard. So it was Scott D'Amore defeating Alexander Kozlov, Bryce Cannon, Justin Credle. Yes, Justin Credle showed up. Laredo Man, Laser, Nate Bach, Neo Koloff, Rhino, Roman Roselle, Tommy Jr., and Vernon Love. Dreamer had pinned Justin Credible after some softcore plush animal pounding for the win until a masked Scott D'Amore choked out Dreamer to win the match. Funny gimmick there. Then George South, with his help of Stump Kowalski, defeated Paul Lee, who had Noxtista and Nathan Orden. Stump hit Lee with a monkey wrench. That was a chair. That was a baseball bat to help North to win. Have to see it to know what I'm talking about. Check that out. Then on to a 12-man Lucha Libre death match where the loser must die. All fun and good, but it's just weird. So it was Team Chico El Luchador of Alex Kozlov, Chico El Luchador, JTG, comic Taylor Williamson, the Zombie, and Zocre. They defeated Team Chavo Guerrero of Alex Kozlov's bearded mother, Chavo Guerrero, Sin Budai, Taya Valkyrie. Yeah, Taya Valkyrie was in this, the referee, and Watts. I'll go through this. This was wild. So here are some of the deaths. Taya ripped Zocre's spine out. The zombie bit Kozlov while Kozlov shot the zombie in the head. Taylor Williamson left Chavo Guerrero after he said he had corona from Sturgis. JTG used a bazooka on Taya. Then Chavo shivved JTG in the neck. Chavo hit Chico El Luchador in the head. So we got some cartoon fun. Once Chico regained consciousness, seeing Chavo about to finish him off, the comic Taylor Williamson used an Empire lightsaber in the back of Chavo to kill him. As all broke kayfabe to yell at Williamson for actually killing Chavo. Goofy ending. This is Seattle wrestlers just yelling at the poor comic for killing Chavo Guerrero. So I guess Chavo is dead in Talking Shop Mania legend. Then we went on to Detective Helms asking Air Paris questions when a Marty Jannetty lookalike threw Helms into a barbershop window. Yeah. And then for a ball match. I'll just give it away. It was supposed to be Sex Ferguson versus Chad Too Bad, but it turned into the Cock Torture World Order of the Fake Sting, Mr. Hughes, the Barbarian, the Karate Man Ethan Page, the Warlord, and Virgil, with Sammy Callahan and Man Fulton and Alex Kozlov as zombies, defeated Chad Too Bad and Sex Ferguson. Here are some of the spots. Gangrel spit in Chad's crotch, making him burn. Sammy, Man, and Alex came out to bite them. Karate Man, Ethan Page punched both of them in the balls. Then Sting, Dreamer, used a baseball bat on both of them. Then Virgil and Mr. Hughes stomped on their crotches. Then the Barbarian and Warlord ripped them off. Then Scott Steiner of all the people came out to spit on both of them, calling the show stupid. There was a table sitting with all the new world order talking, and it was to be continued. So there might be a Talking Shop Mania 3. I can't wait. Then there were actually credits with people talking. So it was Matt Cardona, Ricky Morton, Gail Kim and her husband talking about how bad the show was. All fun and goofy. Check it out if you can. If you're not too serious about wrestling, this is a show for you. Then on to earlier today, Saturday, November 14th, Southern Hemisphere Wrestling Alliance Can't Get the Best Out of Me from Western Australia. El Toro Blanco defeated Pegasus. And in the Pride title, champion Del Cano won against Michael Maloney to an contest. Wrestling in Japan had a freelance show, Cherry Birthday's Return. So you defeated Cherry. Ice Ribbon 1080 took place. Yeah. And then Tokyo Pro Wrestling of My Mind Day 6. Nai Kakuda and Pam Harajuku defeated Soka Nakajima and Suzumi. Hyper Michio defeated Moka Miyamoto. Rika Tatsumi defeated Mahiro Kiro and Maki Ito in a 3-way match. And then Nodeka Tenma, Yuki Ono, and Maria Mayumi defeated Hikari Noa, Marika Kobashi, and Yuki Kamafuki. And Saki Sami defeated Sana Sierra. And then the Magical Sugar Rabbits of Mizuki and Yuka Sakazaki, Team Iraku, to defeat Hinuro Neko Miyu Watanabe, and Miyu Yamashita. Sorry I talked so long. So that's a wrap for me. Till next time, with any more indie news or shows that come about. Don't forget to look up those Twitch channels that you can see on YouTube's page that I promote. YouTube streams, any other wrestling content you like. Thank you for watching or listening. Hope you enjoyed the cut. On yet another busy weekend for me. Stay safe, take care, and be kind, everyone. Back to you.
All right, Charlie, thank you as always for your contributions to the show. And so we're going to keep it moving right along right now, where I get to play armchair booker, for lack of a better term, and we are continuing with the CHS faction tournament. We are on to round 2 right now, and I'm talking about the fantasy booker. Right, so the first matchup in the CHS faction tournament for the Fantasy Booker is, or the first matchup for the second round is the Four Horsemen versus D-Generation X. Two of the best factions in the history of pro wrestling. I mean, you know, just look at the names that have been in these factions over the years. I mean, the Horsemen, of course, like I said, the version that we're using for this tournament is Flair, Arn, Tully, and Barry Windham. DX, you've got Triple H, Shawn Michaels, New Age Outlaws, X-Pac. You know, I mean, this would be a dream match in anybody's book. But for this tournament, I have to go with the Four Horsemen. I mean, I think you could probably argue without the Horsemen, there would be no DX. Without the Horsemen, there wouldn't be a lot of these factions in wrestling. Let's just be honest here. But, yeah, DX especially, because both Triple H and Shawn Michaels hold Ric Flair up as, you know, a mentor and an idol and, you know, somebody who made them want to get into the wrestling business. So absolutely, without the Horsemen, there would be no DX. And like I said, the Horsemen are kind of the blueprint for a heel stable in professional wrestling. And as good as DX has been and always was, you know, I gotta give this victory to the Horsemen. So the Four Horsemen moving on in the CHS faction tournament. So let's get into the last segment of the show here, where I drop a little bit of an unpopular opinion. I don't think this week is going to be any exception to that, and I am talking about the weekly hot take. My hot take for this week: people are fucking stupid. And allow me to elaborate, because I don't mean every single person on the planet, but some people, they say things and it just makes you think, how did this person make it to adulthood? You know, but I'm speaking about one specific incident that I saw online this week, and it was regarding the AEW video game announcement. And, you know, I mean, this is an announcement coming from a division of AEW called AEW Games. So you kind of had an idea of what the announcement was going to be. People have been asking, clamoring, waiting with bated breath for an AEW video game since the company was announced. So you knew it was coming at some point. They had been dropping little hints here and there between, you know, mostly from Kenny Omega, but also Tony Khan here and there. And, you know, once you saw social media pop up with the name AEW Games on it, and then they say, we're making an announcement November the 10th, you kind of have an idea what's coming. You know, you figure they're going to be announcing a game. Well, they announced 3 games. And I actually saw some moron, and I'm not even going to give him the satisfaction of me saying his name. This was on Facebook. After the video with the announcement came out, the announcement itself, it was, you know, kind of a parody of Apple making their announcements with the new iPhones and things like that, with Steve Jobs, you know, Kenny Omega dressed in the jeans, the black turtleneck, and, you know, same thing with Cody and Aubrey Edwards and Britt Baker, you know, and you know, it was kind of a parody. They had fun with it, But the whole point of it was they, made the announcement that people have been waiting for. AEW games are coming out. And this moron is like, oh, I expected something more exciting. And I literally asked this guy on Facebook, I'm like, it was an announcement from AEW Games. They announced a video game. What were you expecting? Well, something much more exciting like C2E2 or E3 or... what? Dude, we're in a lockdown. There is no C2E2 or E3. Not in the way that you're thinking. You're not going to have the screaming crowds and stuff like that. It's just not going to happen. It's not possible. I mean, it's the stupidest, most idiotic comment that I had seen that day. Let's be honest. There's a lot of stupidity out there. But I mean, come on. The whole point of it was to announce there's a console game and there's 2 mobile games coming out. That was it. And this guy, they announced a console game and 2 mobile games. I'm disappointed. What do you want? You want all the bells and whistles and lights and crowds of a convention when conventions aren't happening. It just like I said, it baffles me sometimes how these people survive to adulthood being that ignorant and just dumb. But anyway, so that's my little rant for this week for the weekly hot take. So that's going to wrap it up for the show for this week. But definitely make sure you tune in next week. I'm going to try and drop the show. Well, not try. I'm going to drop the show pretty early on Sunday so that I can have my preview and predictions for the Survivor Series, which is going on next Sunday. And it will also be the final farewell of The Undertaker. Supposedly going to be some guest appearances, some people being brought in for The Undertaker's final farewell, like The Godfather and Zelina Vega, who The Undertaker was, very good friends with. They were traveling partners, members of the Bone Street crew back in the day. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It's kind of cool. And definitely check out the Brothers of Destruction documentary that just dropped on the WWE Network today. It's definitely worth a watch. It's only like 45 minutes. I wish it would have been a little bit longer. But I could sit and listen to The Undertaker and Kane talk all day because they're 2 of my all-time favorites. But, definitely give that a look. But, next Sunday, dropping the show a little bit early in the day so I can have my preview and predictions for Survivor Series out there. So, once again, want to thank everybody for watching, listening, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, or wherever you get your podcast from. Make sure you're following on social media on all platforms. You can find the show at catchhookshoot. Patreon.com/catchhookshoot for bonus content, ProWrestlingTees.com/catchhookshoot for t-shirts, catchhookshoot.bigcartel.com for t-shirts and hats you can't find on Pro Wrestling Tees. And as always, the email is catchhookshoot@gmail.com if you want to drop me an email with your questions, comments, or anything else you might have to say. So with that, I'm going to wrap things up. Hope everybody has a great week. Enjoy all the wrestling coming up, and I will talk to you guys soon.